I want to respond to this question in the next couple classes, how it is that we're different. You know, if you were to stand here from this perspective and look around the room, you see just an immense number of differences, features, shapes, sizes, all sorts of random features, and yet at the same time, some features sort of group together. And so some people of certain ancestry groups or certain geographic regions of the world tend to share features that are more similar than they do with people of other geographic regions. So I want to talk about that and how it is that we got to this place and focus on features. And one of the things I want to do in today's class and next week on Tuesday is really get you to start to zero in on bodily features of people, the characteristics, right? Because we sort of grow up in this atmosphere where, in many ways, especially white people, if you're white, you're taught, and people of color, you need to, there's one thing you need to understand about white people, you need to understand this. We've been taught in subtle ways and not so subtle ways to not notice race. Not talk about race, not pay attention to race, and not even notice. That's why it is, or how it is, that a person sometimes can say, you will hear someone say, I don't see color. Oh, I didn't even notice that you were black or brown or whatever. It's like, dude, I didn't even notice that you were Asian in some way. Oh, I didn't even see that. You're just my friend. And so you think, oh my God, that's so crazy. But the issue is that we're really taught to not see it. Because if you see color, if you pay attention to it, if you notice it, anything about this guy right here, whether it's his black hair, his brown skin, whatever it is, then that's an indication that we're seeing race. And that is an indication that we are racist. And so if you don't see it, if you don't pay attention to it, you don't talk about it, that means then that you're not racist. And so that's how that we get to this place, right? And so we're also taught not to pay attention. Like really, and I don't mean taught, these aren't overt lessons, but we really learn this thing about not really paying attention. And so it becomes this thing that if you say something, maybe you say the wrong thing, and maybe, oh my God, you get called out and that's a problem and it's racist. And so last class when the two of you, and I'm like, hey, are you sisters? And it's like, oh my God, this guy, he said the wrong thing. It's like, no, I didn't. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's like if I said the same thing to two white women from some sorority sitting in the back who dress alike and look alike, and you know how it is, right? Like white sorority, dude, it's a stereotype, I know, and yet at the same time, I've been in a room with 600 white women who are all in sororities, and I swear it's like the same person. And so, and that's not a diss to you all, right? Those of you who are in sororities, but you go places, you tend to dress alike, you tend to, we wear hair the same way. I mean, we follow other people. So if I had picked out two white women who were sitting next to each other, like you two, and say, hey, are you sisters? No one would say anything about it. It would just be this thing. But, oh my God, but he said that about black people. And it's like, oh, what's that mean about him? Oh, is he just a white guy who thinks all black people look alike? Or what is that? And it's like, so we're always treading on ground. And I know that, so for me, I thrive on awkward moments because I am a mildly sociopathic, meaning that I don't really follow other people's rules. And that's the first thing. And second thing, I'm so comfortable talking about these issues that it just doesn't matter to me. So where other people would back away and think, oh my gosh, I can't talk about it, I can't do it, then I don't do that. And I used to do it. And when I was the age of most of you, I did, I didn't want to be seen as that guy. But after a while, when you get so accustomed to different things and talking about things, so one of the things that it's just easy, you get accustomed to it, that I sometimes don't finish my sentence because my mind is spinning faster than my lips. That you get accustomed to talking about it, such that it's comfortable and you can begin to ask the questions. And not only ask the questions, but ask them in a way that can really elicit some kind of response, and a thoughtful response, or that you really have a kind of a deep curiosity, and like just so one big part of this class is to get us comfortable talking about the issues. And a lot of that, some of that anyway, is me modeling, but some of that is you modeling. I'm going to bring people up here and just have you talk and have conversations and engage, okay? Now, this is not just white people, people of color as well. We're all, like, we get stuck in these boxes. And so we're all, I'm going to get everyone out of certain boxes, okay? Are we cool? Of course we're cool. It's good. All right, so, well, I don't know if I'm going to get us out of boxes, but I see that as my job, so we can go from there. So that's what we're going to talk about. I really love features. I travel a lot. I pay attention a lot. I study features. I have friends who are really, really into looking at features. Noses, eyes, lips, ears. I'm always just fascinated by the different ways that human bodies come together and they group together. And so we're gonna talk about that because it just doesn't matter. It is what it is. It just doesn't matter. And so to me, and it really ultimately doesn't matter because we're all gonna die. And our bodies are going to rot and decompose. And it's just that we are what we are. You know what I mean, dude, right? We are what we are. My nose is what my nose is. My eyes are what my eyes are. It just is. Right? Okay, first slide. First thing I want to do, as we talk about where we came from and how we get here in these issues, I need to talk to those of you who believe in a creationist perspective. And there are quite a number of you, actually. So if we did a poll in the class, it would be upwards to 15 to 20% who have this idea that, particularly Muslims and Christians, who have this idea that God created the world pretty much as it is, maybe like 4,000 years ago or who knows what, and this is what we're dealing with. And you base that knowledge on some text, holy text, whether it's the Quran or the Bible, the New Testament, Old Testament. Look, and that you have learned to distrust science, and you've learned to distrust evolution, and that, you'll go to church or synagogue or your mosque, and you'll hear someone talking about, the evils of these things, right? And I just want to fairly quickly respond to this, because most people who hold this perspective have never studied the science. And, you base it on, you have a book, right? Like a book. It doesn't look like this, but, your book, right? And this is holy text. And somewhere this text got written, and it says that God created things as they are and all that kind of stuff, right? And you believe it's true because it's written in the book. But that doesn't mean it's true, right? You want some evidence. And so sometimes some people who believe these things seek evidence. And so they try to make these logical proclamations. But the only evidence you have is faith. You can believe that God created the world in 7 days or 6 days, and on the seventh day he did bong hits or whatever he did. I don't know what he did. He rested, right? So yeah, bong hits. Why not, right? So anyway, God, dude, is that sacrilege? Did I insult anybody? I mean, it's an herb. God created it, so it's not like cocaine where we have to mix it, but okay. So she's all about that. Anyway, so on the 6th day, whatever happened, I don't know. And you believe it because it's written in the book, but that doesn't make it real. It's only real because you have faith that it's real. And if you have faith, then that's one thing, but that's not evidence. Evidence is a very different thing. Data is a very different thing. Faith is wonderful. If you have faith and your faith makes you happy, then good for you, more power to you. Oh my God, because the goal in life to a great degree is just to be happy. So if you have faith that this is true, creationism, and you're happy about it and all that kind of stuff, then good, lovely, just live life. But what I want to tell you is you probably don't know the science. And I can be almost certain that you don't know the science. For example, a number of years ago when I was in Turkey, I accidentally converted to Islam. And so I'm a Muslim now for about 10 minutes, right? After about 10 minutes, you can do it. You can convert pretty quickly, by the way. And if I don't know, why not convert to Islam, right? convert to everything. So, I don't know, I'll just be everything. Why not? You never know, maybe it's like the Muslims are true, or they're right, and so like, why not just convert? It takes you like 3 minutes. Anyway. But after I converted accidentally, this guy says, this imam, he says, okay, but now you have to denounce evolution. And I'm like, that ain't happening. No, you have to have faith in the Quran. And I'm like, I don't think I can get there. So anyway, I never really fully embraced it, but in certain moments. Okay, next slide, bro. I'll tell the story some other time. It's actually a really cool story. So here's what we know about. First off, can I see that image right there? If that's your image of evolution, no wonder that you question it, especially if you're black or brown. Why is that? Because the person on the far right, who's most evolved, almost always, I could pull up a dozen of those images, and the person on the far right is always a white person. So what's that mean? It means if you're not white, you're like the second, you're in between the white guy and the second person because you're brown or black in some way, and that means that you're closer to the apes than the white person. So it's no wonder, in my mind, that so many black people and brown people, like say here in the United States, don't accept evolution because that's the image that you have. I wouldn't accept that either. Because it's like, come on, the white people being most evolved, that's silly. That's not the image you should have of evolution, okay? Nonetheless, let me tell you something. The fossil record and the genetic record are immensely complex and being developed year by year by year. We have a really, really good, solid story about how human beings came to emerge, Homo sapiens, right, our species, how we came to emerge, and how and why it is we came to have many different characteristics. We don't know some of the exact story, but we have a pretty good idea. And we have the dating down pretty well. We're discovering new fossils all the time, and because of genetics, we're learning a lot of new things, and so it's changing, and this is nature. Science improves, and as science improves, we collect more data, and we collect better data, and so we have to change our story. It's just like how you think now versus how you will think in 20 years. After being, let's say, in the workforce for 20 years, you just learn more. You develop more data, you take it out. So what I want to tell people is, those of you who hold the kind of this evolutionary idea, it's mostly Muslims and Christians, I have to say, it's fine, but really, honestly, this is my humble opinion. Either base it entirely on faith, which is what it is, and that's fine. But do not base it on logic and evidence unless you are ready to study the science and understand what that is. And once you study the science and everything that's behind that, your faith will start to change a little bit. And that's okay. Because it's fine to bring two perspectives together. What it might mean is that you have to go against a lot of the stories, maybe even stories of people in your families or your culture or who knows what. But that's what intellectual and developmental growth is all about. So it's okay to bring these stories together. It's fine. It doesn't matter. This is what the growth is, okay? So, evolution. So everything I'm going to say for the rest of today and next class is really fundamentally grounded in the idea that, hang on, let me see if I got to go to my next slide. Yeah, next slide. That human beings, Homo sapiens, the modern species, the species that we are today, right? The human beings emerged somewhere in the Nilotic region, right in here. And Homo sapiens, right? And there were other what we would identify as species. There are other two-leggeds as well. But what became Homo sapiens emerged here and just started to expand around the world and overtook the other ones, the Neanderthals and so on. And went this way, went this way, went this way, went up into Asia Minor, came down into the Asia, up, eventually up this way, and it happened over a long period of time. And as it happened, two really important things happened. People came, they encountered different climates. And certain body features were more amenable to certain kinds of climates than other bodily features. And so the people who had those features just thrived more so. And remember, it's not like today. Lifespan for so many thousands upon thousands of years was really short. So there's a lot of time for bodily for certain people or certain features to emerge as really dominant, because the people who had those features thrived and they reproduced, and they're more likely to pass their genes on to people in a way that their progeny had those similar features. And before you know it, in particular regions, whether it's right in here or over here or here or here or whatever, in one river valley or on one mountainside, whatever it is, because people weren't traveling all over the world, wherever it is that certain groups of people came to have features that really identified them. Okay, and then as people moved all over and generations upon generations upon generations continued to have children, people started looking very different. And then you have just change in our genes. We talk about, it's called genetic mutation. We associate genetic mutation negatively, like something like, that happens and a gene mutates and then we get cancer or something. But genetic mutation is a general idea that some gene, for whatever reason, in somebody just changes. And then they got this little ridge in their ear, that person. And then maybe they have like 6 children. And for whatever reason, all 6 children have that same ridge in their ear. Our ears are very different, by the way. It's one of the parts of our bodies that's more different than any other parts of our bodies. And all you got to do is, if you're ever with a bunch of friends, line them all up and just look at everybody's ears. It's like a fingerprint. Everyone's ears are really, really different. It's probably very much like it. Anyway, and then suddenly all their progeny had that little hook in their ear. And then maybe they have more kids. And then before you know it, here's this whole population of people that have this really kind of unique feature connected to their ear. Well, the same is true with all the other body parts. Our skin and our hair and our noses and our lips. And again, our ears and our height and our weight and maybe just the shape of our buttocks and the shape of our shoulders and any number of things, right? The shape of the forehead, whatever it might be. And then we move around, and then you turn around and you stand up here. Dudes, can you stand up real fast? What's your name? Francesco? Yeah. Where are you from?
Where am I from?
Where's your family from?
Puerto Rico, Ecuador, and Italy.
Puerto Rico, Ecuador, and Italy? Okay, just look. See what I see. Just look at the immense variation. It's really impressive, right? And that's all because everybody's ancestors emerged or evolved, let me use the verb evolved, in certain regions of the world. And over time and time, people you have, say, like a Puerto Rican nose, let's say, right? Or whatever. It's hard you can't really say that because Puerto Ricans are like, actually, you look like you have Ecuadorian eyes though, bro.
Yeah.
Do you?
I think John Lipchenko, right?
No. Well, yeah. Hang on a second. It doesn't really look. I used to live in Ecuador, so no, you really do. I can see like the Indian, Los Indios, the feature. Where's your family from in Ecuador?
Guayaquil.
Guayaquil?
Yeah.
I can just see it in your eyes, but.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
Okay. Anyway, so if you just see what I see, right? And so the curiosity of anthropologists and sociologists and so on is to say, hey, how did we get here? Like, what is this all about, right? This is the science. It's utterly fascinating. Anything else you want to say, Dave? You don't have to say it. No, I'll call you up. Yeah. I'll put you on the spot. Give me another minute or two. All right. So, is that cool? You got it? So, genetic mutation, changes in the environment, so what we're going to do is talk about some of that stuff. And ultimately, I want to show you that it doesn't really matter what our features are. we live in a world now in which we start judging one another because we have these like standards and systems of beauty and like, oh my God, I should be like this and I should be like that. But, that's all just nonsense, right? And by the way, you'll never be happy if you follow other people's standards of beauty. So that's a true. Yeah, I'll say 3 things all semester that are true. That's the first one. You'll never be happy if you follow other people's standards of beauty. So, whatever. Just, okay, let's go here. So sometimes it's actually, if you don't understand how the process worked, how migration patterns work, you won't really, you're not really going to get the story. So here, let me ask you, where are they from? How would you identify them? Just, what would you say? Turn to your neighbor really fast. How would you identify them? You had to see. You saw them walk. You saw them come out of that back room. What are they? Dude, what are they? African? What are they, bro? African? What are they, bro?
African, South American.
South American.
African.
African? Okay, so here it is. What do you say? African? Man. Okay, bro. Go to the next slide. So she's from Malaysia. He's from New Guinea. So they're both from like right here. They're Asian, actually. Right? So look, see the pattern right here? Coming out of Africa, this way. There's some ideas that people also went this way as well, but this is the dominant pattern. Come around here, boom. Some of the darkest people in the world, and when you do skin stuff, some of the darkest people are not in Africa, actually. They're in India and down here, but we can get to that later. But anyway, they're here, so they're actually Asian, right? But look at the pattern. See how it goes? Down here. And so this is the kind of stuff, right? Like you say, okay, the fact that they look African doesn't mean that I heard a Christian person, this is not to bash, this is just a thing. A Christian person talking about the evils of evolution showed a couple photos of people. Someone from the Sarong tribe, which is where she's from, in Malaysia. And they showed a couple photos, and that was evidence that evolution didn't actually happen, because otherwise you would never have these people who look African in this part of the world. And I'm like, well, that's just because you don't know the story, dude. You know what I mean? The story is really simple. Just look at the arrows, follow the arrows, right? Like, evolutionary scientists know a lot. Okay, so here, go to the next slide. All right, man, who's Native American? I'm just giving you a couple quick stories here. Who's Native American? Native, look at them closely. It's not a trick question. Native American. Yo, is anybody Native American in here, by the way? Anyone have Native American blood? Wait, did someone raise their hand? Dude, you did, bro? Oh, then you should know, you're the expert. You are now. Dude, hang on. Does anybody else have Native American blood? And if you're black and say Cherokee, you probably don't. So just want to let you know that. Dude, what? Okay, what's your name?
Eli.
Eli?
Yeah.
Okay, you're as close of an expert as we're going to get, pal. How are you Native American? What's the story?
If you were born in America, I guess, like before it was colonized by Anglo-Saxons.
No, I got you. So who in your... Dude, this guy. Where's the frat guy? Is he still here? Dude. Wait, no, okay, what's your family history, though?
Oh, on my mother's side, my grandfather's grandmother was of Native American descent.
Okay, dude, that's far off. So we don't expect you to get it right.
No, I'm not getting
who's
any
Native
scholarships.
American?
Out of those 4 options?
Yep.
D.
Dude, not even close. All right. How about, do you want to give it a shot? Who do you think?
I'd say B.
No. Okay, who's got it? You got a 50-50 chance. Here it is. It's all you. Please don't mess it up.
I was gonna say A.
It is A, right? Okay, so listen. So A, so can you go to the next slide? So check this out. So here's the pattern. See how it goes? Over here, cross the Bering Strait, but some people settled here and some people stayed here. So if you go back to that photo really fast, so all these people stayed in the Asian side. They're all Siberians. So really, their ancestors may have only lived like 50 kilometers apart for their whole lives. But the issue is, go forward again. One ancestry group crossed over the Bering Strait and the other one stayed here. So they have the same genes. You know, it would be like me and like my brother, my biological brother. So, he travels to, I don't know, 2 towns away. And in 500 years, we come back and we're like, well, we're really the same. We share genes and so on and so forth, right? Okay, so now that's not it would take me too long to explain what I was going to get at right there. Okay, so the other 3 groups are here. So this is part of the story. This is part of the evolutionary story. This is part of the human history, the human story. The more we understand that, the more curiosity we have about each one of us. And so as I look at people and I look at eyes and I look at shapes and I look at hair and I look at all these things, I'm just immensely curious because I'm curious about the human story. In a job in a place like Sus 118 is obviously to talk about all the political issues and all of the highly politicized stuff and the ways in which, like the police and being dark-skinned in the U.S. and immigration issues and God knows what. Dude, all right. Okay, man, go to the next slide. But part of it is that, but part of it is this. Okay, which one? You got Navajo? It's not a trick question. Wait, who's Han Chinese in here? Who's from China? Dude. Okay, you ready? Wait, did you grow up in China or you grew up here?
I was born here,
You were born here but grew up in China? All right, dude, you got this. You should know the answer to this.
Yeah. So bottom right is Chinese. Is that right?
I'm not going to tell you. Who's Navajo?
The top left one is Navajo. I don't know how to say that. And then bottom left is Peruvian.
Yeah, why do you say the bottom right is Chinese?
Because I went to China this summer, and she looks like half the Chinese people I saw.
Yeah. You half of China is old women?
Pretty much, yeah.
Dude, I thought China, okay. None of y'all are like going to rule the world. Okay. And the one in the upper left, why do you say Navajo?
I don't know. She just...
I
watched Breaking Bad, and I saw a lot of Native Americans.
Are you Breaking Bad?
Yeah. There were Native Americans in
Okay,
that
I
show.
got you. All right. I'm not saying whether you're right or wrong, bro. What would you say? Which one's Chinese?
I would go with bottom right.
And I
as
wouldn't
well.
follow the Chinese guy necessarily, okay? But go ahead if you want to.
I think bottom right still.
Okay. Who's Navajo?
I would say bottom left,
Uh-huh.
and then Peruvian top left.
All right. Okay, so the bottom right is Han Chinese. Han is the largest ethnic group in China. So that's why I put Han Chinese. There are lots of ethnic groups in China, right? I mean, there are many. So obviously, it's a big country. She is Navajo, and she is Peruvian. So, dude, you nailed it. My man. Dude, applause to you. Go. All right. Go to the next slide. So, no, go back, actually. Go back to that map. I want to show. Yeah, right here. So watch what happens. So, okay, so the Aleut people, so we say Eskimo, so that was that previous slide, so they're there, but then they keep migrating. So some Chinese are here, so some people stay here, but then watch how those features go. And we're only looking at like 15 to 20,000 years, we don't know, because actually the idea is that people crossed the Bering Strait 15,500 years ago. But that's starting to come under question as far as I can ascertain. I'm not an expert on this stuff. I don't follow. I'm very much a generalist, but I like to keep track of certain things. But then people come down here, and watch what happens. Here's Navajo. It sort of breaks off, and then people keep going south. So I spend a lot of time in South America. I go to Colombia a lot. I just got back from Colombia. I used to live in Ecuador, and there were times up in the mountains where I'd be in Ecuador, because I work with the Catholic Church, or I studied the Catholic Church. I didn't really work with them, but for a long time. And sometimes we'd be up in the Andes, and in communities that were indigenous communities. So the people that really did not have any, their ancestry, their genetic admixture was really had not been infiltrate. I don't know what word I want to use, but there's some sort of political word I want to use a little bit, by the Spaniards at all, right? And so really they were genetically speaking exactly as their ancestors had been 3 or 4 or 5 or 6,000 years ago. Okay? And I would be sitting sometimes in a dark room, maybe like with that's candlelit, so maybe it was a little bit dark, and I swear I would think I was in China, like you last summer, dude. I would swear I was in the middle of China, because the genetically speaking, people look so similar. And so really fascinating. So that's a story. You see, these are the stories. Right? This is part of it. This is part of what's really fascinating. And so, and it's one of those things that makes things like immigration, or listening to our debate today about immigration or undocumented immigration or whatever it is, so deeply potentially problematic. All right, next slide. Okay, here, take a look at this. I want to do this, and then I want to talk about this, and then I want to talk about skin. So I need 2 people. I need 2 volunteers, and ideally they would be. I need someone who is African and someone who is African American, not West Indian, African American and African, and ideally a freshman. Ideally, is that you? Are you African? You're African, yeah. Are you African American? Nah, I got my. Okay, I'll go with you. Are you African American? Okay, we'll go with the 2. Wait, where's your family from? Your mom's from Queens? But did she get here by way of Jamaica or something? Nah, I want 100% African American. Dude, I'm like from Virginia. You're African American? Dude, who's African? Wait, hang on. Do you know many people in class? Yeah. Good. Okay, no, come up. I need someone who's African American who's a freshman. I'm going to go with her if I don't have anybody else. Anybody? Or who's a transfer student who just got here, who doesn't know many people? Is that you, bro? Okay, African American? Okay, dude, you're on. All right, here, you go in the back. We're going to have... Yeah, you can go in the back. We'll come back and get you in a hot minute. Don't listen to what I'm saying. Okay, so listen now. This is what we do. Just put people in the back. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a contest. It's the Africans versus African Americans, all right? So what I need 3 Africans who don't know either of them. So you don't know either of them. They don't know they can't know who you're. Okay, 1. Dude. 2. You. I'm going to go with you. You give it away. I would know you in a heart. No, you're all just going to say, now I need 3 African Americans. And then 3 West, how about 3 West Indians? Like Jamaicans, and do you know them? You can't know them. Okay, come on. Somebody else. Some West Indians, like, do you know them? The 2 people we sent back? Okay, come down. And I need another West Indian, like Jamaican or Trinidadian or something. Anybody? Wait, am I on drugs? What? Yeah, just come. Okay. Oh, dude. Yo, dog. Yeah, all right, come on. No, just one of you sisters. I don't need both of you, all right? Okay, now I need 3 African Americans. Dog, what's up, man? Okay, I have 3 African Americans. Do we have any African Americans? Okay, 1, just come down. But meaning that you trace your ancestry to slavery in the United States and North America. Dude, 1, come down. Hurry up. Are you African American, dude? I need somebody else. I need 2 more people. Dude, come. 1 more. Dude, over there? Okay, come. Yeah, on the end. Yep. Okay, mix yourselves up. Okay. So none of you know any of them, right? Okay. Okay, y'all, come on. Oh, yeah. Yep, here we go. We need a couple. Come around to the front. So here's the story, right? You can just sit. You guys just hang out for a second while I explain something to you all, right? So you can turn around and take a look at this. So here's the deal. When we talk about slavery in the Americas from Africa, first off, the majority of slaves went to South America and the Caribbean, not to the United States. In fact, just about as many slaves went to Europe as went to North America. In North America, slaves were allowed to marry, were allowed to have progeny. And so, but in Haiti, for example, that absolutely was not the case. In Haiti, we'll talk about this later, right? But in any case, but here's the deal. We'll come back to it. But slaves only came from very small regions, very, very isolated regions. So look, and Southeast Africa, just one poor, and slaves weren't brought from they weren't brought from all over Africa. Like this, come on, man, you don't, if you've ever been anywhere, like how far are you going to walk in Africa? How far are you going to walk? Just imagine walking here to New Jersey to try to find people who you're going to capture and then bring back and put them on boats and so on. I mean, you're not. So most slaves just come from these isolated regions. And then people aren't migrating all over Africa. So what we see, if we trace genetics, right, these people here are very different genetically than people who lived here, and people who lived here, and people here. And these people are different genetically than here. Very different cultures, different customs, different ways of being, but we're going to see different genes. And we're learning more and more about it. And in the America, African Americans really are not African Americans, but they're Central African Americans, the vast majority, because they're only from this part of Africa. So it's almost as silly as like when you hear someone talk about Africa as a country or something, right? But it's like, look, Somalia and Ethiopia have nothing in common with Nigeria and Morocco. Come on, man. This is like saying the United States and Peru, because we're all in the Americas, are basically the same. We're not. And so why do you think that Somalia or Ethiopia or Kenya has something in common with Algeria or Tunisia or Rwanda, right? So they don't. So if we look genetically speaking, what we see, and you start to notice this, and you start paying attention to Africans versus African Americans. African Americans, for example, their admixture is much more complex. Much more white blood for voluntary reasons and involuntary reasons. And in the United States, for example, when we do DNA testing on Africans, say in Virginia, we find less white blood than we do when we do DNA ancestry testing on Africans in Washington and Seattle, because over the course of time, you just meet more white people, and people have this way of falling in love and having sex and making babies, right, with whoever's around. Okay, so what we see is that Americans tend to look like people here, not like people over here, because their genes, very few genes are here. So you ready? What's your name?
Divine.
What is it?
Divine.
Divine?
Yes.
D-I-V-I-N-E?
Yes, sir.
Dude. All right. What's your last name?
Lipscomb.
What is it?
Lipscomb. Lipscomb.
Lipscomb?
Yeah.
Wait, is Divine on your birth certificate?
Yes.
Oh, I love black people, man. All right. Dude, like that. It's actually it's not really an African American. We see the African American thing, but it's really an African thing. White people, we're just not that cool, dude, that we would do that. Well, we do. If you're like hippies and you're in a cult and you smoke a lot of weed and do acid, then you're going to have a kid and name them like Jesus or something. I don't know. Latinos can do that. You can be Jesus and you won't be a cult leader, but, if you're white. And what's your name?
Ali Mattu.
Ali Mattu?
Uh-huh.
And you are from Nigeria?
No.
Dude, where are you from?
Liberia.
Liberia. Oh, dude. Okay. All black people are from Nigeria. Dude, I have like a 50% chance of getting it right anyway. Okay, so here's what you got to do. You're going to have a contest. Who's African American? Meaning grew up in North America, traced their ancestry to slavery. Who is West Indian? Okay. Do you know why we call it West Indies?
Because they're from,
Do you know where West Indies comes from?
No.
Dude, Do you know where West Indies comes from?
I mean,
The
people
word?
say like Christopher Columbus thought he was in India, but like he wasn't.
He took the Western approach to India, so we call it the West Indies. Dude, see, Africans got something to teach you, man, right? Okay, so who's West Indian and who is African American? Who's African? African American and West Indian. And so this is the battle of the people of African ancestry. You and, wait, Ali
Mattu.
Ali Mattu with an O?
A.
With Ali Mattu, okay, and divine. Yes. Go for it. So don't pick them. You just first off go down on your own and see. Wait, you need to get their faces really close. Wait, can you get their faces? You got to get close up to them. Wait, get her because can you just go one in it, bro? Yo, Darnisha, we're gonna go with you, bro. You go. Go behind them. Okay. Oh, hang on. So we're going to go down. So you're going down. So I want the whole class. We're all going to do this. Dude. Got it? They stopped at you, dude. You must be the man. You know what I mean? Okay. Well, you got it. He's going to be tough. He's going to be tough. You're going to get him wrong. Turn to the side real fast. Go do a close up of him. They're going to get him. They're going to get this. What's your name, bro? Brandon? All right. So they're going to get him wrong. I guarantee. So you got your peeps?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
3,
good.
3, and 3, by the way. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should have told you that. Okay. Let's start. Here, come down here, Ali Mattu. Let's start with him. Talk right into the mic.
I think you're African.
Okay, dude, don't say.
African American.
African American. Okay? Wait, hang on. No, we're not going to say what they are. Go ahead, bro. This guy.
West Indian, I think.
Do a close-up of him so the whole class can get it. Dude. Look at those eyes, man.
Probably African.
What do you say?
I said that was like I think.
Talk right into the mic.
I said I think you're African American, but I'm
African
probably wrong.
American.
West
Divine?
Indian.
What's that?
West Indian.
All right, her. She's easy, man. If you are going to get kicked, you will get expelled from the black ancestry group if you don't get her right. Black people are just going to kick you out, man.
She said
You will no
African,
longer be
so I'm going
divine.
with that.
Yeah, I think.
She told us.
I think she's African.
African. She told us.
What's she? What is she?
She raised her hand when we said African. So
I don't know,
she
dude.
told on herself.
That was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, West Indian, I think.
West Indian?
Yes. West Indian.
Zoom in. Go ahead. Go ahead, fast.
African American.
All right. You can't miss it.
West Indian.
West Indian? All right, go ahead. Go ahead. What is she? No. Do you know her?
No, I already did my three.
What's she?
She's African American.
African?
American.
African American. Yeah, if I ever saw an African American, that's her. Bro?
I want to say West Indian.
West Indian? All right, go ahead. Her?
West Indian.
Her?
African American. African American.
African American. Yeah. African.
African.
I think she's
African?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, here we go. Do we have, let me see. I'll see. Okay, where are you from?
Senegal.
Senegal.
Barbados and Guyana.
Okay, so we have that. For those who don't know, Senegal is in Africa. So she's West Indian. Okay. Wait, what's your name?
Sokna.
Sokna?
Yeah.
Alicia.
Alicia?
My name first.
Yeah.
Rimaz.
And where are you from?
Sudan.
Sudan. Oh, wow. Dulcie, you got that wrong.
NG and Haitian.
Haitian.
Nathan, Ethiopian.
You don't look Ethiopian, dude. No, he does. No, you do. No, you do. Like you have you, dude. And don't be saying I don't know.
I didn't say
Dude, I've been to Ethiopia twice. I study Ethiopia. Like, his forehead, but not his eyes, man. Ethiopians, dude. Not your eyes. Are you right on that, dude? Yeah, I get that. You get that? It's not your eyes? Exactly. Dude, thanks for getting my back. All right.
Kea, Jamaica.
Jamaica.
Faith, Liberian from New York.
Liberian from New York. That's in Africa, Divine. All right. It's a town in New York called Liberia.
Keith, and I'm from New Jersey.
From New Jersey. Dude, you look like you're from New Jersey.
Brandon, I'm from Brooklyn.
African American too. They're both African American.
Brooklyn in the house.
See, you get him right. So who won? Did anyone keep track of who won? I think you both lost, to be honest with you. Okay. So listen. So don't be saying, I don't want black people. Don't be talking about like white people who can't tell black people apart. We got two authentic black people here that can't tell black people apart. You know what I mean? So like, come on. Like, it's not just us. It's everybody. You know what I mean? Am I right, bro? Thanks. All right, man. All right. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, yeah. Yo, Ali Mattu. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Hey, thank you all. Appreciate it. Okay, you can sit down. We're going to go see y'all. You can clap for them, by the way. All right. Okay, so we're going to do one. I need somebody from Korea. I need someone from Korea. Who's actually from Korea? Preferably a woman. Who's from Korea? Dude, seriously, who's Korean? I need a Korean. Okay, come down. Are you really Korean, or are you like... Well, you're from Korea, right? No, come down. Just come down. Bro, and I need someone who's... I need someone who is... Oh, wait, hang on. Let me see where I got... you're going to go in the back. I need someone who identifies as black. Doesn't really matter. Preferably a woman. Dude, just a black. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Dude, do you identify as black? Are you mixed? You're mixed, right? What are you? You're African American? Dude, that's black. Okay, African American. Come on. That's good enough. Black African American. Dude, stop. You black people, you're always like confusing us. You know what I mean? Black. No, I'm not black. I'm African American. The next person's like, no, I'm not African American. I'm black. It's like, okay, whatever. All right. And then I need, dude, help me pick out the whitest white person in class. I mean, like so white, they're translucent white. You can like see through their skin. You do know. Just look around, really, and it can't be her, by the way. No, seriously. Well, wait. Can someone find who's the whitest white person in class? No, I don't mean in terms of your. No, I mean really, really light skin. Like, dude, it could be you, bro. So just stand up real fast. This dude's really white. Wait, can you wait? Wait, can you get a shot of him? Wait, hang on. We're gonna have a vote. Take your hat off. Dude, take your hat off. Oh, dude, come on. Let's go. Come on. It's you, bro. Okay, you ready? All right, you go in the back. Get ready. Actually, dude, white guy, you come with me. The two of you just stay back there. Okay, now listen, man. Now I need like the darkest person in class. Who identifies as having who considers themselves as having really black skin. So black that it's like blue tinted. No, seriously. No. Because if you have really dark skin, there's almost like a blue tint. Dude, no, I just need someone with really dark skin. Dude, no, somebody really fast. Dude, it might just have to be you, because it's not really, yeah, dude, you. It's always like the person it's one piece of who's really black, and they're like, me? Like, I'm black? Like, yeah, dude, you're black. You're not the blackest person in class, but we're going to take you. And then I need someone who's like, you're going to just stand up. What's your name, bro? You don't have the black. No, dude, hang on. It's not you. Hang on. We're going to keep you. No, I need someone who's darker than him. Can someone who's darker than him? Dude, Ali Mattu, it might be you. No, I think it's going to be you. I know, I just made a mistake. Ali Mattu. No, it's going to be you. Yeah, come. Hang tight. Okay, stand over here. Dude, what's your name? George? Dude, perfect name. What's your name? Chris? Yeah. Okay, Chris, meet George. What's your name? Sokia. Oh, yeah, because you were up here. Yeah, I know, dude. I got it. All right. Dude. Okay, you ready? Okay, you ready? Hey, are we ready with... Okay, come on out. Okay, here is take that and take this. Hey, by the way, I called you Ali Mattu because I knew you were familiar, but I can't remember these things. Okay, the two of you come up here? Okay, so stand together. The two of you. You're Korean?
Yes.
What's your name?
Jiwoong.
Jung?
Jiwoong.
Ji-yoon.
I go by Abe in the States.
Abe? Because of people like me?
Just like you.
Ruining your name. Just call me Bob. All right. You look totally like a Bob. All right. And what's your name again?
Taryn.
Taryn?
Yes.
Oh, you so look like a Taryn. Seriously, Taryn, Abe?
Sure.
No, is that what you said? Abe Lincoln?
Right.
Okay. Dude, so I want the two of you to pick out the person. So you got to stand close to these guys. Are you cool being the whitest guy in class? Okay, all right. The snowman. All right. I want you to pick out the person with the ideal skin. Don't think too much about it. Who's got the ideal skin? Don't think too much about it. Just look at him. You can get close. You're not going to insult them. You're not going to insult anybody. Just pick out the person with the ideal skin. Look at this guy. Look at his skin. Look at her skin. Look at him. Ideal skin. What are you thinking, Abe? What are you thinking right now?
What do you mean ideal skin?
Dude, just what I mean. If I was your friend walking down the street and someone said, that guy, let's pretend we're friends, the three of us, and we're walking down the street, and here we are, and we're cruising along because we're headed out to somewhere, and I said, hey, that person has the ideal skin. You would not ask me what I mean by that. You would just move on and assume what I meant by it. Same with you. So who has the ideal skin?
You can go first.
Yeah. Oh, throw it off on the Korean guy. I see.
I would say that guy.
This guy?
Yes.
Yeah, what is it? Oh, hang on, before you answer, who would you say? Oh, come on, it's okay.
Okay.
You're not going to insult anybody. Is she going to insult anyone if she doesn't choose you, if she doesn't? Okay.
Sorry, I'm staring you all down.
Yeah, just
It's
go
really
for it.
awkward.
Ideal skin. Don't think too much.
I'll go with you.
Oh, you're going to go with your sister there? What? What? I don't mean that literally. Why? Okay, why do you see in her? What about her skin?
It's really clear. I mean, you all have really good skin. I don't know.
If you came home and you came home with her skin, just overnight, your skin turned as dark as her skin, what would your family say? Did you get that? Did you get that face on her? Can you just get her face? Put it up. Can you just put her face up on the overhead, Joy? Can you just do that?
No.
Do that face again. Do that look.
There's
you
so
came
many
home and your
people
family.
in here.
You came home and your skin was as dark as hers.
I can't replicate it. It was just like a thing.
It was. Bro, how many people in Korea? Who would the majority of people in Korea, especially women, choose as the best skin? Would they let me make it easy for you. Would they choose her? Are Koreans trying to have her skin?
No.
Would they choose this guy? Dude, let me help you.
It's really hard. It's really hard to
When's the last time you've been to Korea, my friend?
tell. Just this
Okay,
summer.
okay, so you have no excuses. Who are they going to choose?
I will just stick with that guy.
Okay, hang on a second. All right, let's go to that. So we happen to have the opportunity to speak, to have a visitor come to class via VTC, who is probably, she would not say this herself, but there's no, she is one of the world's expert on skin. In fact, many people think she is the most knowledgeable person about skin in the world. And the whole story of skin and how it goes. And she wrote a book that became really well known. She was on the Colbert Report. Forget about that. She's just an astute, very well-known scientist. When she's in a room, there's nobody who's smarter than her. She's, at the very least, the smartest person in the room in the world of skin. So can we, Professor Nina Jablonski, how are you?
Hey, guys.
Welcome to Penn State, 100 Thomas. From your office.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Great.
Hey, so when you see these three people, are you able to see them? Wait.
Yeah, I can see them well, thanks.
Okay. How can you, I'm going to pull this over.
Yeah.
Can the three of you stand? What do you see? Tell us the story of skin. How'd they get to look like this? What's the story? Look at these three folks. Like, how did they come to have three very different skin tones and pigmentation?
I mean, what's fascinating is that they all have beautiful skin. They have young, unmarked skin, but the ancestors of the two people on the right evolved in a place with a lot of intense sun, a lot of strong ultraviolet radiation. So the dark pigment in their skin has really worked to their advantage over thousands of years to protect their skin from damage from ultraviolet radiation. We know that darkly pigmented skin evolved early in our species history and has continued to be important in the lives of people living under intense sun in Africa and elsewhere. But the ancestors of the guy on the left with much lighter skin have a different history, because when his ancestors left with others from Africa about 60,000 years ago, they began to move into areas of the old world that had much weaker sunlight with much less ultraviolet radiation. And in fact, I would venture that his ancestors came from, in the last few thousand years, from far northern Europe, possibly the British Isles, where there's very little sun and it's quite seasonal. And under these conditions, it's actually really important that there be as little pigment in the skin as possible. That helps to maximize the production of vitamin D in the skin, which turns out to be enormously important. So what we have here, and especially the young woman in the middle with very dark skin and the young man on the left with very, very lightly pigmented skin, are sort of the two ends of the beautiful human spectrum of pigmentation. And both evolved under natural selection through evolution. So, I mean, these two beautiful types of skin are not random. They didn't occur randomly. They occurred as the result of well-known evolutionary processes. One of the important things to remember is that humans, until a few thousand years ago, regardless of where they lived, didn't have sewn clothing, right? Our skin was the primary, the only interface with the environment. So, the skin was the main event. And a lot of changes occurred in skin color as part of the evolution of that physical interface with the environment. We didn't have buildings. We didn't have clothes. We didn't have all this gear to protect us. So the skin was part of the forefront of our environmental protection. So, we understand that the evolution of skin pigmentation is actually a really straightforward story about natural selection. And we know that over time, some populations have actually moved around from really sunny areas to not so sunny areas to back into sunny areas. And we can actually see the genetic mutations that indicate changes in pigmentation at every major move.
So, Nina, thanks for that. Was immensely clear, concise. So tell me, I want to hear something from you. I hear from a lot of people who have very dark skin that they don't like it because it's not beautiful. And they identified the more beautiful skin would be lighter skin. And I've talked to countless people with really dark skin who feel a certain kind of shame about that or wish they had lighter skin. And what would you say to that? What would you say to them?
I think it's one of the saddest things in human history that we began, and by we, I'm saying European philosophers and naturalists around 250 to 300 years ago began to put qualities and judgments on skin color, which never existed before in human history. So, when people say, oh, my skin is too dark, or it's too light, or it's too this or too that, we're judging it according to social norms that are recent historical inventions of people living in Europe who mostly didn't know very much at all about human variation. And they had a lot of preconceptions about what they liked and what they didn't like. And so when people today, and a lot of people in the Caribbean, for instance, say, oh, my skin is way too dark, I've got to change it, I've got to bleach it to look better, it makes me incredibly sad, because our skin is the product of evolution. Wherever we are, our ancestors evolved our skin tones to be basically matched with the solar regimes in their environment. And these opinions that were framed just a few centuries ago have poisoned our identities, have poisoned the way that we think about our own skin. And that is a human tragedy. We're paying the price of this every day in the damage that we do to one another through color-based racism and through the psychological damage that people feel when they feel they have to change their skin to make it lighter, to be more socially acceptable. It's just, we got to get over it. And we got to get over it by understanding the history of race concepts and how incredibly wrong-headed and horrible this has been in human history.
So Sokna, for example, had her ancestors not been really dark, they would have likely succumbed to the ultraviolet rays of the sun, and they would not have produced their genes, and she wouldn't be standing here today. Is that right? I mean, so we owe, whatever our skin tone is, we really owe, we should be, whatever it is, we should be thankful for that, because that's what allowed our ancestors to survive and thrive.
Because our skin color conferred real survival advantage to us. It wasn't just sort of a random characteristic. It was associated with our success, our ability to reproduce successfully. So, it's like, it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's to be celebrated, whatever it is. And if you're one of those many millions of people between these two extremes of skin color, it means that your ancestors probably lived under an intermediate solar regime. So, it's just like, celebrate it. And it's a natural, beautiful characteristic, regardless where you are on the beautiful spectrum of color.
So the other thing that I've read that you've said, or I think maybe we've talked about it, is that another issue that we run into is that people like George here there are lots of public service announcements about him getting lots of sunscreen and taking care of his skin and so on. But we don't have a similar public announcement for people with darker skin to say, hey, you need to make sure you get enough sun and ultraviolet light and so on, because that's important for your health. But we try to keep light-skinned people out of the sun, but there could be another message that's equally as important for the health and well-being of people with darker skin. Am I right?
And in fact, you know, one of the things that we've been working on at Penn State and elsewhere is making sure that people get the right messages to protect their skin, but also to stay healthy, because the sun is actually important for our overall health, because we make vitamin D from sun exposure of our skin. And in the middle of a state college winter, anybody with really dark skin is not going to be able to make vitamin D. And that's a real problem for their health. So everybody has to recognize that we're products of modern civilization and modify our sun protection accordingly.
So now, what that means is, this is your first state college winter? So make sure you get, whenever the sun's out, make sure you go out and get a little bit of it. Hey, Nina, no, seriously, make sure you get enough sun. You know what I mean? Because it gets really dreary around here. Nina, I'm going to turn this around. So
okay.
This is, you probably saw Taryn. Can you see her well? Okay, she identifies as African. Can you get closer? No, you got to get closer, because hang on. Can show the screen. I want to make sure I can I see? Okay, what do you think? What do you think her ancestry is?
Well, she has a lot of European ancestry in addition to African ancestry. So, you know, I can't tell exactly what European countries it is, but you know, she has lightly pigmented skin, sort of intermediate skin. She can tan well. So, you know, she's a classic American mixture. You know, we're all mixtures, but some people are more obviously visible mixtures. And so it's like to be celebrated. I love the way she looks. I think she's, you know, a beautiful, healthy young woman, just like the others that we've been looking at, you know, earlier. I just think it's just fantastic. And however you want to identify, it's great, but just enjoy whatever color and facial features that you have. They are beautiful. And at least in your ancestors, these were framed by evolution. So it's like, celebrate being a product of evolution.
Okay,
I think it's great.
Hang 1 second. How do you identify, by the way? What's your background? Who's your family? Talking to the mic.
Okay. My dad's African American. My mom's African American. That's pretty much it.
Have you ever done an ancestry test?
No.
Oh, okay. We got to do one for you. Find out. Like Nina's saying you got some European blood in there, so let's.
Oh yeah, a lot.
Yeah, a lot. And listen, she knows she's white. She's an expert on white people. Hey, Nina. Listen, thank you for taking the time and joining us. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Great class.
You are. Dr. Jablonski is actually a professor at Penn State, and so if you're lucky enough, you can take one of her anthropology classes. But thanks, Nina. We'll talk. Hey, so have a safe weekend, you all, and we'll see you. Discussion groups start next week, next Monday.